As the leader of the Booner pack, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the fuck up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juice pumping, boys.
Game show here on Crunch Time Sports. Jeff, Caleb, Booner's doing the Kool-Aid chug. We got Gentry, we got Klotz, and we just watched a tough finish for the Washington Commanders and Philadelphia Eagles game.
Yeah, there's still 4 minutes left.
It's a tough thing right here, though. They take the lead. Now you need the Commanders go down, get this win, so the Lions can get a step closer, locking up that 1 seed. But the Lions do their job. They beat the Bears 34-17. Offense took care of business. Wait, hold up. I had the score prediction right. 34-17. Hey, hold on. Hey, a little W for me, huh? It's hard to get those right.
Yeah.
But 34-17 just clicked. Offense did their job. I mean, today, Jared Goff, 336 yards and 3 TDs in the cold. I guess everyone can shut the hell up about that.
Yep.
And then the run game. Jahmyr Gibbs, 23 carries, 109 yards. He balled. The Lions rushed for 145 yards today. 109 of it from Gibbs.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had Jameson Williams, 5 catches, 143 yards and a touchdown. Amon-Ra, 6 for 70. And then you had Gibbs and Laporta with 40. Vaki chiming in a little bit too. But yet the offense was incredible today. I mean, if you talk about total yards, they had 474 yards today. I don't know how much better you can get. No turnovers.
Yep.
That's a hell of a day.
Yeah.
Against a pretty good Bears defense.
Yeah, we talked about it. The road to the Super Bowl is going to have to go through the offense, and it's really going to help when your defense can create turnovers. They got 2 today in the first half, only held Chicago to 17 points. It is Chicago. That is a bad team, but holding any team to 17 points with that many injuries on your defense is impressive. So hats off to Aaron Glenn once again, and the offense did what they had to do. Jahmyr Gibbs stepped up with the absence of David Montgomery like we all expected. He's a top 3 running back in the NFL. I don't know if you could argue that anymore. And like you said, everybody that talks about Jared Goff playing like shit in the cold and that he can't play in the cold and the 2-glove Jared Goff is a fraud. It's over because he just threw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns like it was nothing. And that throw to Jameson Williams was one of the better throws I've seen all year from Jared Goff. Dome or not, it was one of the better throws I've ever seen. So this by Jared Goff this year. So yeah, great win for the Detroit Lions. 1 step closer to winning the NFC or locking up the 1 seed in the NFC, but we're going to need some help here.
We're going to need some help. We need the Vikings to lose to the Seahawks. That's at 4. That's starting actually now. And then we, of course, need the Commanders to win here, down 28-30. So we need some, need some other things to happen. Now it's like 3rd, 4 for them, moving down the field. But the Lions today did, again, exactly what I expected. Take care of the Bears, beat them by multiple scores. The only thing I look at with the defense, and they did a good job today in terms of, I guess, first half, second half. First half, 14 points. Okay, that's where it's like, all right, you allow 14 points. Second half, they allow 3. So second half, they did a great job, and they didn't allow the Bears to run on them.
Picked off
by the Eagles. Yeah, it's brutal. Is that Blankenship?
Yep.
Oh.
That's tough right there. Damn. Hey,
that's brutal.
We control our own destiny here now,
but
Jeff.
The Lions still control their own destiny, and they gotta keep stopping the run like they are doing currently right now. DeAndre Swift 9 carries, 20 yards. Okay, Caleb Williams led them in rushing again. He did that in Detroit, but through the air, Caleb Williams 334 yards, 2 TDs. That's the only thing I would look at from this defense today. And you look at, okay, they're going to give up a ton of yards, but they're not going to break. It's official. That's what this defense is going to do moving forward. Okay, we're back to the bend, don't break. Ton of yards passing, big plays, but they don't allow them to score touchdowns.
Yeah, the only thing, and Caleb Williams is good at evading the pocket, but
he's hard to get down.
He is, but I would like to see more sacks. 1 sack there for the Lions. If he can come back next week even more healthy and add more to this defense, like helping getting to the quarterback and everything, kind of like the role that he played last year.
Yep.
And the role we thought Jamal Adams was going to play this year. If he can help with the pass rush, we're going to be in good shape, because if you could just get to the quarterback with our talented secondary with Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph, Terrion Arnold, this defense will be in good shape. And that goes to Zadarius Smith as well. That goes to DJ Reader. I know not much of a pass rusher DJ Reader is, but he
can do it.
Yeah, he has I think he has 2 or 3 sacks this year, so he's capable of it. But yeah, I thought the defense played very well today overall. Those were somewhat empty stats from Caleb Williams, in my opinion, just from the second half, because they only ran the ball probably 3 or 4 times in the second half. But yeah, great win by the Detroit Lions, and a great job by the defense stepping up.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the defense too on the day. Brian Branch led the team in tackles, 12 total tackles. You had a sack from Iffy today, and you had the sack from El Muhammad, and he had 2 tackle for losses. So the defensive line, some names like an Iffy Melifonwu, who returned, and it's his first game back, gets a sack. That's good. That's a guy we were all waiting to see, and the guy that I'm very excited to get back for the Lions defense. Yep. Man, he's an important piece, and he's capable of making plays on a weekly basis. He did that today. Now, El Muhammad getting a sack, I love to see it.
Love it.
Because that's someone that's going to play a lot more, and he's going to have a big opportunity now for the rest of the season. So for him, it's exciting. But yeah, to your point, this is what you're getting from the defense. You're going to get some yards. You got to be stout in the red zone. And today, the Bears in the red zone, and I will get that for you, because at the end they had a huge, I shouldn't say huge, but it was nice to see him get a stop in the red zone. But the red zone, the Bears were 1 for 3. So Lions, they were 2 of 5. So they weren't excellent in the red zone, but it didn't matter. They had big plays. So if the Lions defense can keep doing that, then you know what? That'll get them.
Oh, he dropped it. Oh, my goodness. I'm sorry to interrupt you,
No,
Jeff,
that's huge.
Devontae Smith had a wide open catch to get the first down on 3rd down, and he dropped it. So now the Eagles are going to have to settle for a field goal here. So sorry to interrupt.
Door's still open.
Door is still open for the Commanders. I mean, this would be fantastic. This would be great.
Yeah, this would be huge. The Eagles right now, no Jalen Hurts, and they're still holding on right now.
Wow, Devontae Smith, how do you drop that football?
That is brutal.
But yeah, another thing for the Lions is I feel like this game again, they played like their, what would you say, B game? Like this wasn't even an A game from them, and they still won and oh my gosh, he made it. All right, you need a touchdown to win if you're the Commanders. But yeah, I don't think the Lions played their A game today, and they still won by double digits. So
yeah, they still took care of them. But you're looking at the big. I'm looking at the Vikings at the end of the year. I want to see how they build to that. The Bears. I'm glad they beat up on the Bears, and they'll probably beat up on the 49ers. But I'm looking to see how the Vikings look today.
Yeah,
against the Seahawks.
And I know it's the Bears. I know the spread was whatever. It was a touchdown. But the way they beat them is so big by double digits, because going into the week, you have all these injuries. You have Dan Campbell going on 97.1 saying all these things, goes viral. You have Penei Sewell saying, if you don't think we can still do it, hop off the train or whatever. There was a lot of talk with the Lions. Are they done? And they just went in and they destroyed a bad team. Like that's what good teams do.
That's what they're supposed to do.
But you are right. Like Minnesota, that's going to be tough at home. Even next week, I know San Fran record-wise they're not that great, but they're talented. That's going to be a revenge game for the Lions. On Monday Night Football in San Fran.
Kyle will have some game plan. I mean, they'll keep it there. I don't think it'll be this bad. But we never know.
No, the 49ers are a better team than the Bears.
Yeah, but the Lions, we all agree. I wonder what that spread will be like on the road. Lions favored by
From what I saw, it was 2.5, but now I could see that getting to 4 maybe after this.
Like that.
But yeah,
it's really that fight, because the Eagles got a cakewalk. We need this win today from the Commanders, because the Eagles got, I believe, the Cowboys and Giants to end the year. So
2 bad teams.
2 bad teams. So I mean, they gotta. Commanders got to get one today for the Lions.
Yeah, and you know what? I want to give a shout out to the offensive line too, because myself, I know a lot of other people. We're telling the offensive line, hey, you've played not very great these past couple weeks. You need to step up this week, especially with all the injuries on the defense. And I'll tell you what, they stepped up. They kept Jared Goff upright, and they let Jahmyr Gibbs run free. Shout out the offensive line. Shout out Christian Mahogany.
He had a good game today,
for filling in for Glasgow. And I thought he played great. That might be your future guard, with Zeitler potentially leaving because of his age. And Glasgow, we have him for a couple more years in his contract, I think 1 or 2. But yeah, Mahogany might be your guard in the future, and he played really, really well today.
Yeah,
Shout out.
He looked good. He did. For a guy who missed a lot of training camp, getting up parts of everything and just sliding right in there and being solid, good for him.
All right, boys.
Good for him.
How are we feeling? I missed the beginning of the show here. Can I just ask you guys a question about this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just today's because I did think like there wasn't much you could do going into today's game until we ended up playing like the Vikings or something to really tell how this Lions team can be, because you lost so many guys. Did your needle or whatever I'm looking for, did it move at all today? I mean, it was a 3-possession win. I mean, you got the score prediction spot on. Did it feel like you were like, okay, I'm a little bit more confident than what we were thinking about before?
I learned that the line, and not learned, but I guess it confirmed that the Lions defense is going to play like they played last year, which has been no break. They're going to give up a ton of yards, try to not break in the red zone.
Yeah,
they did that against the Bears, but no, it hasn't moved because again, it's the Bears. Like they're still, we know they can score points. They did exactly today what we know they can do: score points. They did that. The 17 points, it's like, it's nice. They could have easily gave up, 27, 30, whatever. So I'll give them that credit. The defense, in terms of points, 3 points in the second half was a good performance. But again, it's hard for me to be like, yeah, the needle's moved. I got to see there's steps to me. It's the Vikings, I think, is a good test. I don't look at the Vikings as Super Bowl
You're going to learn a lot.
But you'll learn. Like, that's a good team. I think the Vikings are a really good team.
I agree.
And then there's that. And then it's like, okay, in the playoffs, I think the Eagles is the test. That's like the big test, in my opinion, for the Lions.
I'll be honest, Boone, the needle did move.
Like how much though? Is it like to where it's like, oh, they're still like?
I mean, if we were right here for the Super Bowl, and then after all the injuries and the Bills lost, we went to here. It's back down to kind of in the middle of those two, which is pretty substantial, because I think a lot of us, we did lose a good amount of confidence in what this team can do. But beating, it doesn't matter how bad the team is in the NFL. It's still the NFL, and beating a team by three possessions,
still good.
It shows something. And they did what they had to do. And everything that Dan Kibble said this week was true. Everything that Jared Goff said this week was true. They had to come out and show the NFL something, that they are still the Detroit fucking Lions, that they are still capable of beating up on teams, bad teams, and they did it. And like Jeff said, the next 2 weeks, they're important. You're gonna see what this football team really is these next 2 weeks. But beating up on a bad team is the start of it. It gives me confidence. If this game was close, I mean, my needle. If this was 50% Super Bowl, it fucking plummets if this game was close.
So I agree with that. It feels like to me there's a little like you were expected to do this, and like we know what to me it confirms that your offense is going to still be your offense without D-Mont. And you're going to be able to score points. And you're going to, with Jahmyr Gibbs, he's a top 3 back in the NFL. You got to see it today. I don't know how many all-purpose he ended up having, almost probably 200, close to it.
Yeah.
Maybe a little under that. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to see that. Oh, my gosh, that move from Jaden Daniels is unbelievable. But, like, I just wanted to see that they could do it. Defensively, Jeff, I'm with you a little bit. I want to see them versus, like, another contender defensively with what they have. And you have to think about it. Come playoffs, like you get Anzo back, like you're gonna get Germ back, you're gonna have Iffy now, like you're gonna have some dudes to be able to step up. So it's not as bad as maybe today you might have thought it was. And the secondary, what's the one thing that Dan said the last couple of weeks with some of these new guys? Is it like when you're in the system, like some of these guys, like Terrion's now CB1. That was his first week as CB1 for the rest of the season.
Mm-hmm.
So like he's learning, right? Like all these guys are learning football not football, but like these new positions, like where they're going to be at, what they're going to do moving forward. So I didn't hear, and this is a positive, who I didn't hear a name, maybe, I don't know if he didn't play, Kendall Vildor.
That's a good thing.
Didn't hear his name at all. I don't know how many snaps he was out there. Klotz said, I think maybe Amik was on the outside there, and they had Branch going to nickel, and they had Iffy coming in a lot. So maybe you didn't, and it's a good thing, one, because he wasn't giving anything up, and 2, you have other guys that can step up.
How much? And I don't think I saw Emmanuel Mosley didn't get much.
I didn't see Emmanuel Mosley once, and I'm not saying that he didn't play, but I'm just saying I did not see him.
Yeah,
I didn't see him either, to be honest. Emmanuel Mosley. So I don't know. Maybe we'd have to check like the snap count stuff.
Yeah, that'll come out probably tomorrow
to see how many plays he did play, or if he played any really. But yeah, I thought Iffy was a great bonus today. Just a great, drop in, making some plays, got a sack in fashion. That's what he's going to do. Get you. I mean, he had a couple picks too, but steps up.
Late season Iffy, man, I love that.
He's a Swiss Army knife.
Late season Iffy. That's not, and it just froze on us. We're just trying to Does someone want to click refresh? Can someone snag a refresh?
Yeah, we got
on
to
that?
get this TV. This is
that we kind of kept it. We
Third
kind of
and
kept
one.
this quiet a little bit here, but
They're
Oh,
marching
no,
out.
we're
Here we
back,
go.
we're back.
I'm not looking at the chat. I'm not looking at anything because we're probably a little behind. Oh, it did.
Oh, no.
I mean,
The
Klotz.
Oh no, this is a disaster.
it just refreshes score touch.
Oh my gosh, that'd be
Touchdown.
unbelievable, dude. If the first and
Oh,
goal,
there we go. Okay.
second
they
and
don't
goal,
have any timeouts.
you got to take 2-3 shots at the end zone. You're at the 9-yard line. You have to take 3 shots at the end zone. Sorry about this. I know it's a post-game show.
Yeah, but
We've
this
turned
is
into a
huge.
Commander's watch party to get the
But
a
this-
win here.
But this is huge.
You have 10 seconds left, second and goal at the 9. You need 3 straight shots, quick shots to the end. You probably only have time for 2. And you can't
on,
fall
Jaden.
short.
Make a play.
You can't fall short.
Uh,
That looked like a false
come on,
start.
Jaden.
Yes! Oh!
Let's go!
Let's go!
That is
Let's
huge!
go, Commanders!
No! Jameson
No
Crowder!
way! Oh my! I didn't even know. I haven't seen Jameson Crowder in years.
Oh, dude,
let's
that
go!
is let's go!
Commanders! Oh my gosh! Let's
that's
go!
huge.
Oh, that is so big. Hey,
Commanders!
Hey, Jeff.
Oh, Klotzy!
Jeff. And this is a serious question. I'm right here, bro.
Commanders, baby!
So okay, so after Eagles loss, and I know we still have Minnesota on our tail, but with us winning and the Eagles losing, does that move your needle more? Like after the Eagles loss? Because now there's a better chance we get that bye.
I think. Well, my premise was always like they got to get the bye. I wasn't saying if they get the bye. I think I think we could all agree you're in a better situation.
Yeah.
You get the bye week. You get a week to get everyone more healthy.
Oh my
so
gosh!
yeah, if you get the bye week, yeah, the needle does move a little bit. It's like you should be more confident.
And they get the
2
2
points.
And
Make
you
it a
get,
3-point
and you get
game.
home field advantage.
6 seconds, boys. 6 seconds. I'll say this too.
That's electric, baby. Come on.
You're now in a position where you win next week. The winner of that week 18 matchup, I think, would get the 1 seed. Vikings Lions. I believe. Because if the Vikings lose today or they lose versus the Packers,
I think they'll lose against the Packers. Though.
if they lose one of those 2 games, the Lions will win, or they'll clinch the division and they'll clinch, I think, the 1 seed with the win versus the 49ers. I did all the math. That's not like I did my own math, so I could be wrong. But the math and all the tiebreaker stuff that I did, if the Vikings lose today or they lose next week, the Lions could be, they could clinch, I think, heading into week 18. Big time from the Commanders, huh?
Yeah,
Are the Commanders better than the Eagles? I'm kidding.
That was a huge win, man.
That's a big win for them.
I
I think
don't
they
know
clinch
how-
a playoff. I think that was if they win this, they clinch the playoffs. So that's good for them.
This whole comeback might have just won Jaden. It might have just locked up rookie of the year. To be honest.
Yeah. I mean, he threw 5 touchdowns.
Yeah. Like,
Can I tweet that, or is it just too much time left on the clock?
There's 6 seconds on the clock, man.
Should I wait?
No.
No,
Let
send
it rip.
Okay.
Let it rip. Let the people know.
I wanted that second one right there. They go down. I didn't know if that was like a. That's unbelievable, boys. That is unbelievable.
We get to celebrate 2 wins here today.
Yeah, maybe even 3.
Maybe.
Did you take the
maybe
Booner
3.
parlay?
Okay. Damn right, I took the Booner
Just
parlay.
making sure. Imagine I hit 2 today. Oh my gosh. They got to run it back. 6, 5, 4, 3. Get him. Get him. They should have had Saquon out there. Someone please get him. Someone please.
Oh my God. There we go.
Get on the ball. Yes, that's game. Eagles go down. They should have been down a million other times. Let's go. Come on, baby.
That is massive. That is a massive win. That is a massive win. Sorry, my peripheral.
Yeah, you got to work on that, dude. Dan Campbell would be disappointed.
That is. Oh my gosh.
Dan Campbell would be disappointed.
So the Lions, hey.
Let's go, boys. Let's go.
Over.
Seahawks win tonight. A Seahawks win tonight.
Yep. Hey, by the way, Shift God, you're right. Chat was right. Hey, pick them. I picked the Eagles.
Let's go, baby.
Chat was right. Chat was right.
Yeah. So let's talk about this Lions game, boys. Let's talk about this team here. Christian Mahogany looked good. Christian Mahogany looked very good.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
What a good day, boys.
Yeah,
what a
it was.
good day.
It was. It was a great day. It was a great win, dude. I mean, and the Lions now in a position where they, you have 2 losses. Eagles have 3 now.
Hey.
And the Seahawks game is, I think they're down.
Yeah, Jordan Addison touchdown.
That's okay. It's a long game. It's a long game.
Didn't put it in. Lucas looks at me and goes, Jordan Addison touchdown. It's a very smart play.
Hey, but if you look at it long term, I do think, like you guys were talking about, the Vikings will drop. And like we talked about it already, Boone. I think Jeff is one of the days that you're sick. But the Detroit Lions, every time they play the Minnesota Vikings, every time the Minnesota Vikings have lost this year as well, it's when the other team puts up 30. Whenever the Detroit Lions beat the Minnesota Vikings, they got to put up 30. And I think the Vikings, they're a high-powered offense, but I think you can only carry Sam Darnold into a shootout for so long until he makes a mistake. And I think that's where it will come crucial. The Ife Melifonwu coming back, I think, is really pivotal. And I do think that the Lions are built to get this 1 seed. But watching Philly, like we talked about it, it's like 4 weeks. Philly's really good, and that's what the fuck's happening in Philly. So right now, that's what they're getting checked in the mouth. And I do think they'll be able to respond. Obviously, a lot of it has to do with Jalen Hurts being injured, but the Lions needed a break, and they got a couple today. So
I mean, it's been a thing for the last 3 or 4 weeks where the Lions just like there's all these games, like that Carolina game with the Eagles, like these games, dude. You have just been waiting for it, and there has been nothing. And finally, like. It's crazy because it came down to like one of the last weeks of the season to get a break. Yeah. And if there's somehow, some way the Lions get this Vikings loss today, or even next week, like that Packers game, the fact, like I think the Eagles was the bigger one because they play the Cowboys and then they play the Panthers. Mm-hmm. I think that was the bigger one that you're looking at. So I mean, it's finally to get a break is big. And I think too today, the fact that they were able to go to Chicago after all the criticism all week, after everything that happened, after the injuries, that they were able to just go in there and say, okay, let's take care of this thing and let's just go win this football game.
3-possession game.
And you know what? What was the one thing we talked about all week that we knew was going to be bad? The pass defense. Yep. We knew that. And that was it. So it's like, to me, there was nothing there that we didn't already know, that we weren't like, hey, this is it. We knew that the pass defense was going to be tough. The bend don't break. You saw in the second half, what was it? How many points they gave up in the second half?
3.
3 points in the second half. That's elite. Yeah. That's elite. And I know they kept getting down there and they had to go for it on 4th down and probably could have got field goals. You were stopping them in the red zone. Like you were getting stops. When it came down to it in the second half, you were finding a way to get stops. So you held them. I mean, dude, you just held the team. I know it's one of the worst teams in football, probably, but to 17 points, that's still like impressive in the NFL. And that was after all the injuries. That's after all the criticism. That's after everything that happened with the Bills last week. Mm-hmm. So I'm happy with today. I'm happy.
Yeah,
step forward.
You should. It wins a win, dude. At this point, you're not looking to beat the Bears with style points, although we thought they would. You're just looking to beat the Bears. Period. You just want to move on, beat them, move on. I mean, it doesn't. Again, we can argue about our confidence level and stuff like that, but you just had to beat the Bears, and we thought they beat them by a lot. They beat them 34-17. Like next week, when do they play? Monday Night Football next week?
Yeah. Or no, I think it's Sunday night. I could be wrong.
They play prime time against the San Francisco 49ers.
And then I would imagine
is it prime time?
The Niners is, because think if both teams were healthy.
Wow, it is.
And then you go. I don't see a way that they don't turn the Vikings and Lions game into a primetime game as well. Then that's in Ford Field too.
Yeah, Oof. That's 12. That's 12:30. What's that? 30's a Monday. That's Monday night.
Monday Night Football, day before New Year's Eve. Really? I had no clue. That's shocking.
Day
Monday
before
Night Football.
New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve the next day. Yeah. Because, that's shot. I did not know the Monday Night Football. That could have got flexed, to be honest, because the 49ers have given up on their season. JMO today was unbelievable, too, by the way, boys.
Yeah, and after responding with that penalty
you might
as well,
get 3,000 or 2,000-yard receivers, man. You might get it this year if JMO keeps balling.
Because
what
him
is
and
he
Amon
now?
both get 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
After today, he's at 747.
That was what he was before the game. It just didn't update. So it's on top of that 143 to 747. It's like an 890.
Yeah, he needs 110 in the last 2 games.
Yeah,
which he could get that done.
How many touchdowns now? 6.
1, 2, 3, 4,
6.
5, 6 total.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean that's a good year from him. 48 catches too. 48 catches, almost 900 yards.
I mean, remember last year we were talking about, obviously he doesn't have that many yards, but Brandon Ayuk had like 1,400 catches or 1,400 yards on 75 catches.
Yeah,
like
JMO 40-something with 800, 900.
Yeah, that's pretty much on
crazy.
track, if not even crazier.
Over 18 yards. Oh, my gosh, Panthers just won the game. Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's just big. Like, JMO stepping up. You have 2, I'll say it. JMO on like a bad team is probably a wide receiver 1. Right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Like he would be a number 1 in New England. He would be a number 1. You could make an argument, honestly, just based off this year in Buffalo. You could make an argument for like the Chiefs right now, the Saints, especially with no Olave, the Raiders.
If you look at targets,
the Broncos,
going into today, he had 68 targets, Klotzy. Look at like wide receiver ones, 144, 140, 140, 134, 124, 122, 121, 119, 119. He has 68 targets. And these guys have double the targets as him. And he has 900 yards.
Yeah, it's crazy. He's a weapon.
That's insane. And these guys that have all 130 targets, 933 yards, 928 yards, 758 yards. DJ Moore, 112 targets, 758 yards. J-Mo has more yards with half of the targets. Like that's crazy to think about.
I mean, the dude's averaging what?
And more touchdowns.
20 yards a catch. I mean, the guy is just a big play waiting to happen. And what a hell of a year now that he's healthy. 1,000 yards. And by the way, missed how many games?
2. Yeah,
2 games. He would have 1,200 yards this year.
He'd have 11.
We got laughed
11
at.
and 1,300 yards.
Did we get laughed at?
We did.
I think someone laughed at us for saying 1,000.
Well, I think we said 3,000-yard receivers. I think potentially.
No. We said James. I think it was
J-Mo 1,000 yards, and then it was said that we did 1,400 yards. Is what we said.
Because we said Laporta. Because Laporta, I did that. I thought this year would get 1,000.
But it was the J-Mo comment that we had. I think that got clowned.
Yeah, it was the.
Missed 2 games. It still has 900 yards right now.
Yeah, I mean he's having a great year.
Add those 2 games in, what you're looking at,
and he's playing alongside a guy
already.
with the most catches. Well, I mean, most catches on the team by far, but top where NFL catches. Second, catches.
Basically second.
So,
adding on what he had today. Let's see what he had.
That's
today.
impressive. He's doing it with a guy next to him who's second in the league in catches.
Over 100 catches.
Mm-hmm.
Amon-Ra has this year. That's insane too.
So you love to see it. You really do. I mean, they took care of the Bears.
You
did not want to go into this game, and the Bears have any type. It's a tied game late, or Bears have a lead. You just want to just be like, all right, we're better than you. Let's just whoop your ass and get out of here.
I think the Lions are in perfect position right now too, because everyone thought they were done last week. Everyone thought they were out of it, and that's like. It's like, I heard, and I'm not saying they're like Ohio State. That's the last thing I'll ever say. But Kirk Herbstreit was saying yesterday.
Former Buckeye player.
Yeah, and he had mentioned yesterday, though, Ohio State, when they lost to Michigan, they had no media. Nothing was allowed in the building. They shut the doors and said, it is us in here and no one outside. And I think that's something Dan's really good at in Detroit and Allen Park. Losing a game, having all the criticism, people saying you lost players, you lost this, all the questions, closing the doors, being like, hey, this is what we are. And I think that's like it's a little like shot to reality a little bit. Like, hey, we can be hit. We do draw. Like, if someone stabs us, blood does come out. Like, that's where I felt like after the Bills game last week, that was it. It was like, hey, let's get down to reality here for a second. You can get knocked off the pedestal. And then now it's like, hey, that was a little motivating factor for some of these guys to realize that and to see it and be like, okay, here we go. And then typically when that stuff happens, boom, you hit another level. Even without guys hurt, it's like you're right here all year. You're 12-2. You lose, boom, you hit another level because you just learned from losing and you learned from all that. And you're like, I don't want that to happen again. And I think that's what happened. And I know it was the Bears. I sense that feeling though.
Yeah, but they
that feeling.
They made the Bears look like the Bears, which is I think the most important part, regardless of the score. Like even the score, like seeing that the Bears scored 17 points, like whatever. But you look at the yards, it's like, okay, they gave up a lot of yards. I do not care. Like Dan Campbell said on the press conference on Monday, or it wasn't Monday, I believe it was Tuesday or Wednesday. He was like, we could give up 500 yards. Yeah. And if we walk out of there with a 1-point win, you'll see a smile on my face. And I think that the fact that the Lions didn't even do that, they won significantly. And you could tell they're the better team through all 4 quarters. The Bears could put drives together. But at the end of the day, they did what's important, and they got even more help. So I think confidence right now is probably sky high. They see Week 18. That's the quote that, like Booner was saying, like that's the game for the NFC title right now.
Corey Hall in the chat says, hope the D can tighten up a bit for next week. San Francisco looking to spoil stuff now. They just
Terrion did make his best play of the season against DJ Moore earlier. Like later in the game. I know the game was kind of out of hand.
He was getting cooked a little bit today.
Yeah, he did in the end zone, I think.
But he made a huge play.
That's like number 1 corner type of stuff right there.
Yeah,
I do think, and I said this before you hopped on, Klotz, like I do think there's a sense with these guys, like these secondary, like they're all in like new spots now. Like they all have different roles. All of a sudden, boom, within 7 days, it's hey, you guys have different roles. Like, and I think they're all still trying to learn more. Like this was week 1 of that. Week 1 without Carlton Davis. Mm-hmm. Week 1 without Aleem. And it's like, all right, well, now we need to adjust. And like Amik, if he was playing outside today, he hasn't done that all year.
He did so good on the outside against
all
the
year.
Run.
Yeah,
like, he got. Everybody was getting cooked by Keenan at the end there, but through like, what do the Detroit Lions need to do more than anything. Like last year, especially, like you saw, they'd give up anything through the air, they'd stop the run. Time and time and time again, Amik Robinson was coming up and setting edge and making a tackle against the run. So that's huge. That's why I'm confident about having him out there.
Yeah, Amik today. Yeah, secondary as a whole, there's Brian Branch. Like everyone, you're going to give up some yards. It looked a little uncharacteristic, like Brian Branch giving up the plays he gave up. It's not going to. It's something I'm not really going to sweat moving forward too much. It's just it's clear as day. You're back to what you were last year without Hutch and without Aleem. That's basically what it is.
Mm-hmm.
The bread don't break. So it's the new identity. Not new, but it is what they have to adjust to. You can't just hold teams to, like they were not shutting teams out, but they were doing a good job against offenses. Now it's like there's going to be a bunch of yards. You're back to where you were last year, essentially. Yeah. So, the Vikings game is the real test. But man,
honestly, too, the turnovers today. You got a couple fumble for like the one fumble.
That was the thing.
Speaking
of getting back to what they are, the turnovers too. The run defense, the turnovers.
Caleb was smart with the ball throwing it, so you weren't able to get any like big interceptions. But when you did look at it, like the fumbles, those are big. And eventually, I think like next week versus Brock Purdy, I think you're looking at Sam Darnold. They're going to take shots. You're going to have to make plays versus Lions team because the offense is going to score so much. That's when those turnovers are going to start happening. And like they're putting themselves in positions. You saw at the end of the game there, like all game, it took so long for this defensive line to get going. Boom. All of a sudden, fourth quarter,
it turns
guys, Mohammed gets something. If he got one, Zadarius Smith was everywhere. Like it felt like it was like, okay, they figured something out. And like, that's what, like, I'm sure AG is like, oh, we get to go watch this film. We finally figured something out in that fourth quarter there. Like, we it's a positive film. Thank you to Jaden Daniels too.
Yeah, shout out to him.
You got work done.
Shift God said next game's real personal. Yeah,
it is. They're going to put up probably 30 on them as well. But it'll be it'll be like a trick play 30. Like that trip play they did.
That's one of the greatest trick plays in NFL history, I think, too, by the way. If not the best.
Trip, it's so creative.
Especially because like it looked real.
Yeah.
Like, it looked like
me and Klotz were like, that was no way.
The chat, shout out to chat. They had our backs. They were like, no, that was real. Oh, that was fake, boys.
The acting, I didn't see it in real time, but when I watched the replay, you're like, yeah, Jared was acting. I mean, it was clear they were acting. It was a trick play. But at first, I'm like, no way. Well, Ben's in his bag. I mean, need the offense to score. I mean, they need him to score. They're doing that.
Yeah, 5 straight drives, opening the game with scoring drives.
I think they punted once, right?
Punted
twice?
I think twice.
I think Jack?
Yeah.
They punted once. Maybe one. Maybe I missed one at the end. I can look here.
So they did their job.
I might have missed the one.
They 34 points.
1 punt, 47. Dude, Jake Bates almost had that 65-yarder too.
Yeah, he's got the
just right.
He's got the leg strength for it.
Yeah, it got there. It was just a little right.
So let's talk about your legacy player, Craig. What happened with Craig Reynolds?
Yeah, I mean, he had one cat. He had a. Hold on, let me see. Craig, 4 carries, 18. He averaged 4.5 yards a carry. I feel like that was the right play. No, I guess I could have gone Gibbs, but it was minus 400 for a touchdown. It made no sense. Hey, if we're talking overall yards,
you risked it, Boone.
I mean, dude, Craig had 4 carries.
I saw the
Jamar
path.
Jefferson 3.
I saw the path. Don't worry.
Jamar Jefferson 3 yards a carry.
I saw the vision. I didn't hate it.
That killed it
by any means.
That killed it.
Jake Bobo 6-yard gain. Anyways, I just think it's one of those things where it's cold weather game. Might be a little bit more difficult than you can anticipate to see the game flow a little bit. And when you got the Lions airing it out like the way that they did, Chicago's kind of hanging around there a little bit too close to put in the twos. So that's the only reason why. But I saw what you were doing. I didn't hate the pick. I bet it. Don't worry.
I mean, he was 3 yards away from getting it. Like that, I don't think that was that crazy. And like Jamar Jefferson, typically you would say at the end, Craig gets those carries in the last possession, and he didn't. I honestly, though, I mean, Jared Goff again, boys.
No, he played well.
Cooking.
He balled outside. Something people want to keep saying he can't do.
Yeah, he threw a 70-yard rope in the outdoors in Soldier Field.
And the Seahawks are driving down the field right now. They're on Minnesota's 45-yard line, but they're down 7. So if they can match it here, score.
Hey, Caleb.
Now we're talking.
It's on the TV. You can see it, the mouse. It's weird.
Oh yeah.
I'm interested to see.
We need a Viking A. We need a Vikings loss. Let's parlay.
Could you
then.
imagine if the Vikings lost? I don't see the way that they lose this game. Out of all the games that they won, I don't see a way that they dropped the Seahawks here. But next week, I definitely see a way. But if they could,
They're losing today, Klotz.
I hope now that I say
handed
that.
out the parlay. They're losing today.
Okay, I hope you're right.
They're losing today. Look at this. They're about to go score a touchdown here. Kenneth Walker. He's going to break down for a 30-yard touchdown run right now.
Yeah, you need Jackson Smith, the Jigba here, huh? There you go.
There he is.
Look at that. They're at home. They lost last week at home. They're not losing back-to-back weeks at home. Chat, how are we feeling? Can we get some comments from the chat here? How are we feeling?
I'm interested to see too when Glasgow comes back how they do use Mahogany. Like, you know what I mean? Like what? Because I'm sure like after today, like that I thought he did so well that like you're not going to instantly start him over Glasgow, but you have to find ways to keep him on the field if you're in a shootout type of game. You know what I mean? Get your best 11 out there, at least with your offensive line, best 5. Like if you put Skipper out there in certain formations, there's no reason you can't have Mahogany out there from time to time.
I am interested. Oh my gosh, DK Metcalf!
Wow,
what a play! I am interested though. This whole Christian Mahogany thing's going to get interesting because he looked good today. No,
wow.
you're good. Christian Mahogany looked good today. Do you have a touchdown parlay?
It wasn't a touchdown.
Unc, was he on the parlay?
No, I asked him who should I build the parlay around.
DK.
I did DK, Sam Darnold, 2 tutties, and Jordan Addison over on yards.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm interested. Coach walks that field with my hands, Booner. I don't know what that means. Don't know what that means. Yeah, not sure. Yeah, that whole situation is going to be interesting. How Christian Mahogany ends up getting placed, not even just this year, but like in the offseason of next year. Because he's a starter. He's a starter.
I think we all agreed too. We've talked about it before. Like in the first round, if you're not going defensive line, you go offensive line, and vice versa. So now you can really focus on in the second and third rounds. Like I would assume that they go tackle in the first round. You don't need to take a guard now. You know what I mean? Even if so, I think it's tougher to draft tackles than guards early on. So you have that first round pick where you can be like defensive end, tackle, then you can go get a guard or double up on tackle later on. But it allows you not to have to take a need as early this year in the draft.
Yeah, I agree. I would even go edge, but just knowing that you have him now, like the Kevin Zeitler thing, he's potentially an all-pro guard this year. And then it's like you're done. Like you can re-sign him at the end of the year. He's on a 1-year deal. So it's like, do you move on or do you? Like, he's all pro and he's old.
If
but
they win the Super Bowl, like him and Frankie, I think you got to ask that question too.
Yeah, I would. You got to prioritize getting a center here. You don't even have like really a backup center.
You can, that's like if you like, let's say Frank walks away, win the Super Bowl, you move Graham over to center, and you can put Mahogany at guard now. You know what I mean? So you don't have to waste that.
But then again, you have to go get someone to replace again.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be like a first round pick. You know what I mean? Like or if you do, like it's gonna be a cream of the crop product. And you don't have to draft depth.
And Malik Blue said if Zeitler leaves, I think Glasgow will move back to right guard and Mahogany will be put at left guard. Yeah, that would make sense, to be honest.
Because I'm sure they'll still bring in guys, like especially like veteran linemen that have been on like. I mean, Zeitler wasn't in bad situations, but offensive linemen that just, again, want to go get a ring late in their career. Like, I'm sure guys will slide in as depth pieces. It won't be
I think
Kevin
they do
Zeitler tier, but
because you have the main guys. Or I guess Panay's the youngest one, and then the rest, like Taylor Decker, you did re-sign him, but he's getting old.
Yeah.
Graham's older on a 2 or 3 year deal. Frank's old. Kevin Zeitler's old. You really just have Panay that's like the young one. Really, and now you have Christian Mahogany, so you have to find a way to kind of in the next 2 or 3 years, like if you don't want the window to close because the offensive line is your window, you have to find that. Because today, dude, Christian Mahogany today, that man, he was good.
Yeah, he was.
He was good.
He wasn't the liability.
The times he was out front too, like
in the screens.
Oh my gosh,
the screen to Jameer, and then even the screen later on to Amon
one
Ra.
of the touchdowns. He had a huge block.
Yeah.
Like he's very
looked
good.
Like Jonah Jackson out there wearing 73.
He's good
because he was good in space, like you said, and I think that's what it had to be like because it wasn't even like injury for him. It was more so like him getting stuff sorted off the field, early on. So that's got to be why. Because when you watch him, like wow, like this guy, like he doesn't look like a Pro Bowler out there, but he was showing like, oh, this guy can definitely start. And if you're starting alongside Penei Sewell in that offensive line, you're going to look like a Pro Bowl type of player because you're going to be in an easier situation. but like in space and stuff, he looked very good.
I know the Lions are going to be in a good spot, hopefully, to get the 1 seed. But you guys see this in the cold, Jared Goff,
Underrated.
Oh.
23 for 32,
outside,
336 yards and 3 touchdowns. The double clip. People hate. I'm not going to say names.
I'm interested, so keep that up real quick.
Not going to say names. There are people who said he can't play in the cold, and those were the bad games.
Oh yeah, I always said going into Chicago was going to be the toughest game of the year.
No, I'm not saying you. I'm saying there's people who are saying that his liability was always cold games.
Oh.
And both cold games this year, he played very well. And like this game was like especially, because that's always been his knock. His knock is like you can't win in the cold. So in the playoffs, you have to go on the road. You have to go here. You have to go there. You have to go outside.
So this is remember, and I don't even think I was talking. I think I was talking to Caleb about this on the stream. But when you look at that, and then you look at Caleb Williams, he's 26. So Jared Goff is 23 of 32, 336 yards and 3 touchdowns. So 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, 9 incompletions. Caleb Williams was 26 of 40, 334 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. So they sound like pretty similar games. But when you watch that, there's no way that you can be like, wow, like those was too similar to your quarterback. That's why I think with the Rookie of the Year thing, and just as far as how Caleb has played this year, when you look at the stats, they look okay. But when you watch that man play football, like it doesn't look like a put-together quarterback yet.
No, Jared
least-
just looks comfortable out there.
I mean, you could tell
It's a
he's
different
experienced.
level. So that's what I'm
In
saying,
the
but
NFL,
stats
that's what
don't
it
tell
is.
you that.
No,
Yeah.
they don't. They don't at all.
In the NFL, like when you get experience and you get games in, like that's why I think people like Jared Goff. A lot of people are like, obviously, like Dan and I'm like, he's in his prime right now, and it's like I don't even know if he's peaking, but like it feels like he's going to be playing like this for the next year, a couple of years.
Yep.
And there's no slowing him down, and it's because he's at that point in his career. Oh my gosh.
Minnesota fumbled.
He's at that point of his career to where it's like he has been in the NFL long enough. He knows like the ins and outs. He knows how to win games. He can win a game throwing for 100 yards. He can win a game throwing for 500 yards. Like he just knows how to go about it. And the only time Jared Goff's career is going to start going downhill is when he gets old.
Yeah.
Because he's just that solid. He's that good. And he's not. How old is he right now? 32,
Some-
31.
30s.
Yeah, now I don't even
He
think
has years left. He has years left, and it's like this is the thing with like fans and people who are like, "Hey, Jared Goff is like he's just like, dude, he's not average. He's above average. Who knows how to win in the NFL?
Very good,
and
yeah.
not a lot of people can do that. Like, not a lot. And if he wins a Super Bowl this year, and even next year, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. Like
He already has.
you throw him in the Hall of Fame.
I think if he wins a Super Bowl, and even 2, but I think just 1, he kind of enters that like Eli Manning tier. I mean, when you go back and you look at it, because it's like Eli had the strong arm, but there'd be some kids like, Eli, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
And I don't think that's Goff, but I just think Eli was a little bit more talented. But as
And
far
how did
as,
his
like,
career end too?
Yeah,
he just
like-
got old and he couldn't move anymore.
Yeah.
And like he still could make throws, but not all the throws he could. But like, dude, he knew how to win games.
Mhm.
He was so elite at it.
Mhm.
That's a great comp.
Eli.
Yeah, I don't
Come
hate
on
that at
now.
all. And Eli was good at times.
Yeah,
Like he was
Eli,
a good, great
he was a Hall
quarterback,
of Fame quarterback.
Super Bowl winning quarterback, and that's where Goff is. That's why I'm excited.
I think he'll end his career with an MVP the way he's trending. Like he'll be in these.
It'll
races.
just be so
Could be
tough
next
because
year.
I think now we're entering like there was the Breeze, Brady, Manning. Now we're entering the Burrow, Allen, Mahomes, Lamar. And you're right because like obviously Matt Ryan won an MVP, but then there was like also Aaron Rodgers. Like there's just gonna be quarterbacks that keep popping
There'll
up.
be random one-offs.
He's going to be a
Yeah.
one-off, hopefully.
Oh, I
Imagine
hope.
him if he gets an MVP like that. Next year's the perfect year too. Perfect year
Hutch
for him to
coming
go
back.
get it. Yeah. He can go-
J-Mo gonna be.
oh
getting
my
better,
gosh, you win
Amon-Ra.
16, 17 games
Just
next
keep
year.
building that chemistry with Tim Patrick. Laporta will be
Jeez.
healthy. Year 3.
That's why I
again.
think next year. I know I would love to win a Super Bowl this year, and I still think they have a good chance. But
Next
next
year's-
year, it's like they're going to be one of the greatest football teams of all time.
Because I think as of right now, they still have like the 13th most cap space going into the offseason, which isn't
Yeah.
like, oh,
You're
we
going to have
tons
to
of-
extend it.
Yeah, but
Kirby and
they'll
Hutch
still-
probably.
They'll still have like that Zadarius Smith, Kevin Zeitler money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like, come here, nice little veteran piece.
Yep.
Come on over here, play for a year. They'll still have money like that to go compared to like being in the hole, being like, oh shit, what are we gonna do now?
Yeah, I mean, guys, I want to listen to this post-game Dan Campbell speech. Like him in the locker room. I wonder what it was today.
Oh, we got share this. We got Jared Goff on the trick play. Greatest trick play in NFL history.
I want to hear this right from him. Still an incredible play. He'll be
Hey,
on-
would you Would you guys be able to mute us when we play this?
Just mute the mic.
The mics?
on StreamYard.
When we play it. Here, I could do it, I guess.
Oh,
How do I go full screen with it? Right here. Just you can tell me where. Which
it's
one?
right there,
What?
right in the corner.
Right there.
When did that start? What was your reaction when put that one down on paper for the first time? And Dan said you worked on it all week. That was the best you would run it in the game. Actually, what was the genesis of that?
We did work on it all week. We ran it probably 3 or 4 times through the week, and the genesis was that's a good play for that scheme. It is, but they're in tune with it on defense. That is a good play, and that it's hard to get that on them because those linebackers are so dang good at seeing it develop. So there, at first it started on Monday with Ben asking me if he thought I could like actually fumble on purpose and pick it back up. I was like, I don't know about that, and that we kind of got off that pretty quickly, and we're like, let's just pretend we're falling or pretend I'm fumbling and I'm holding on to the ball. And I think the part that Gibbs where he dives really sells the play. I'm only doing half of it, but yeah, it worked. It worked like a charm, and it was nice to score there.
Touchdown there. When did that start? What was your reaction when Ben?
All right.
Yeah, I mean they worked on it multiple times, so it was definitely when we got the confirmation. It was a trick play.
Trick play.
What do you think the chat thinks when they're watching and then Luke? It's the big fat guy instead of Lucas after the video. You think they're tripped
What's that?
out?
What's that one movie?
The Incredibles.
The Nutty Professor.
Never seen it.
What?
Never seen it.
The Nutty Professor takes the medicine. You guys never seen that? And he's going from
Eddie-
like skinny
Is that
Eddie Murphy
Yeah,
to like
Eddie Murphy.
big Eddie Murphy.
Never seen it.
And he just like he has 2 personalities in and out of both of them.
Never seen it.
Man. Yeah, but the trick play, hey, by the way, whoever's idea, like that was unbelievable. That was crazy.
Yeah. Well, how do you even when Ben Johnson approaches like Dan Campbell with a play like that? Like, hey, we're gonna pretend that Goff and Gibbs are falling down.
I think
fumble.
it sounded like that Jared was the one that came up with the hey, why don't we just fall down and act like that's so Jared is like, hey, let's do this, boys.
and that take
Collaborative.
and that takes some athleticism too by Jared Goff. I'll say
Yeah.
it.
yeah?
He's an
He
athlete.
easily could fall.
He's an athlete. That takes some athleticism. But
Jameer Gibbs sold it too. That was so good.
and that route by Sam Laporta, that is probably one of my favorite routes in football besides like the hitch and go. I'm a big hitch and go guy.
Yeah.
That's my go-to route. Like
Yeah,
if we
It's a
were to
great
go
route.
out to the
You would run a hitch and go?
oh yeah, I'd burn you. But
You would. I don't think you'd
yes,
burn
I
any
would.
of us.
No, I'd burn you.
We got
We'll
it.
figure
figure
that
this
route, the dread, whatever you want to call that.
He doesn't know I locked all of you guys up here.
I'm a different beast, bro.
You're better than
different
Jeff?
Jeff?
I locked Jeff up.
He did not lock.
He knows it. Klotz, you know I locked you up too. Remember we had that
He
on
did not
video.
lock me up.
And I got open on him. Oh, hey.
It's a lot of cap.
No,
But
no
Yeah,
cap.
well,
just hype him up, though.
obviously, man.
Just
Yeah.
hype him up.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
crazy, dude. I'm done with Jeff, man.
Now, guess what? We have a YouTube, we have a channel. We can record it now and
Yeah.
we'll run it
Yeah,
back.
yeah. We could do it.
I'll
Hey,
dominate, dude. It's over. Tearing
I'll do it.
ACL.
I'll do it right after this.
No, I'm not doing it. I just dumped
Oh, okay.
10 gallons of Kool-Aid
No,
out.
it's fine.
Hey, why don't you fill up the Kool-Aid jug, dump it on you,
Excuses.
and then we'll do it.
Why would I steal that from you? Why would I do that?
I'm staying off air because I'm soaked over here.
Whoa.
What? Okay.
That's unbelievable.
Whoa.
Jeez.
Jeez. Okay.
Coach Walk said I saw it. I think we did play it one time. I'm pretty sure we did.
So now we can.
Coach
film
Walk
a
said
whole-
Booner's left out in the cold by his co-host. That's tough, boys. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough you guys to do that to me.
Well,
It's all right. I get it.
we love it.
Hey, no love going around here. Not in these streets.
What a day. I mean, we just need the Vikings to lose and this day becomes even better, honestly. From the Lions winning, the Eagles losing, the Vikings lose. Right before Christmas, I think that's a great Christmas gift.
Yeah, great Christmas gift. And next week, man, that's going to be a huge game. Like, this is like the biggest game in the NFL of like a bad team versus a good team, like
Yeah.
all year. Because this means so much for the players too after what happened last year.
Yep.
And like every win matters now. Like, because the more wins you get, especially if the Vikings win, it just puts you higher and higher in the standings and your likeliness of getting the first seed. So that's a huge game. I don't care what San Fran's record is. I don't care if they lose by 70 points today. Next week is so huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Just and it's also just to like prove a point. Just whoop their ass. I'm sick of the San Francisco 49ers. While they're down, I don't even care.
And then week 18 is the biggest game of the season. Biggest game of the season.
The Lions put out a video. They put out a video with our score prediction, and the Chicago Blackhawks did a video asking all of the players who they thought were going to win the Super Bowl. And like almost all of them said the Detroit Lions. I'll play it for the people. That is unbelievable, man.
That's crazy work by the admin.
Oh, dude, they're so good. Whoever runs the Lions Twitter, man, and Twitter or socials.
Hey, Coach Walk, you see what he said?
What did he say?
He said I was talking about the Nutty Professor, Boone, not that you locked down anyone.
Okay. A little behind.
See,
Okay.
Coach.
I don't know. I didn't see anything. I don't know what Coach Walk's talking about. All right. Hey, let's watch this, though, real quick.
This
boys.
is hilarious.
This is funny.
Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions. Yeah. Figure it out. One pride. I got Lions. Lions. The Lions.
That is so funny.
Sun God.
That's like next level troll.
J-Mo.
Next level.
He said, J-Mo, baby. That's so crazy, dude. Oh, my gosh. That is nuts. Imagine that if you're a Bears, if you're like with the Bears.
Yeah,
you're like our own hockey.
Like, do you know how pissed I'd be if the Wings did it and they'd be like, yeah, the Bears by a million. Oh my God, I'd be furious.
That would be.
But
crazy.
that Klotz said it during the show. That's just Chicago sports right now. Dumpster fire. And I mean, besides the Lions, we can't be saying much either. But I mean, the Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs. Bad teams. White Sox.
Hey, J-Rod just said 13 W's equals 5,000 for this guy.
So he bet 13 wins. Okay.
Hey.
That's big.
J-Rod.
Imagine if you bet like 15 wins at the beginning of the year and you're sitting here with 2 games left. Would you cash out?
No.
Would you cash out?
What?
15 wins if you bet it. It was probably at the beginning of the year like plus 5, 6, 700. It was probably pretty penny. 2 games left. Need 2 wins.
You're asking the wrong guy.
Why? What'd you?
No, hold on. No, that raises a good question. Honestly, like let's say you put $15 on it. Your cash out right now is $100.
And if I leave it, what can I get?
Would you cash
You
out?
leave
right
it,
now?
You get 150.
No. You leave it. No, 15 wins, you'd probably get
plus. Let's say it's plus 500.
15 wins, you get $300.
So 100 or 300.
Yeah.
Let's say plus 500. If you put 10 on it, you win 500.
Dude,
They're offering a
13 wins.
cash out.
15 wins to start the year would have been higher than 500. But I'm just saying hypothetically.
So?
Hypothetically.
I'm just saying hypothetically.
I'm cashing for the 100.
Okay. So
Just give me the 100.
Okay.
Because I didn't have to do anything. I just
shout out
J
J-Rod too, by the way.
That's true, but I would let that thing ride because I do think the Lions are going to win the next 2 games. I do. I think next week, like I said, they're playing with a bigger chip on their shoulder than they have all year. Just with what happened last year in the NFC Championship game, and then you have the Vikings rolling into Ford Field, and that's going to be a great game. The Vikings are a great team.
It's going to be a battle.
There was a point in this season where I said the Vikings were frauds. I think the floor is going to fall on Sam Darnold pretty soon here, but it hasn't. He's slinging it right now. It's a good team. That's a terrible matchup for the Detroit Lions in every single way.
Yeah, especially with all the injuries.
Yeah,
you're in a tough spot.
But I think they're gonna win that football game. But
hey, J-Rod says, "Get my insides from Booner." Thanks, bro.
There we go, J-Rod.
He credited you for the win, dude. 5 Gs.
And he can set out the Niners. I think the Niners. I mean,
mathematically are eliminated.
Confirmed?
Yeah, it was.
Did it just happen today?
Yeah, I saw a notification pop up.
Wow, dude, that is crazy. Think about that, dude. They're dead last in their division. Cardinals got eliminated today with the loss. So you got to see how the guys. This is why I was saying the Seahawks today. I know it's 7-7 and they're moving, but like the Seahawks are fighting for the NFC West right now. They're in an absolute battle, and they're 1 game behind the Rams, and they play the Bears next week, so they'll probably win that game, and then they finish with the Rams. So if they lose a game, they're essentially probably done with the division, right? Because the Rams.
Yeah.
Who do the Rams have left?
The Rams
have they beat the Jets 19-9,
and they have the Cardinals.
Yeah, they covered, and they have the Cardinals and Seahawks. So the Rams win next week. Like the Rams, essentially, if the Seahawks lose this game, I think the Rams can win next week for the division.
Mm-hmm.
So the Seahawks are sitting here. They're like, hey, we need to. This is a division championship game.
Sometimes it calls for it.
What is it?
No, it's just.
Oh, me too.
Okay, I think it's time to end the show.
My socks were soaked. My socks were soaked.
Not all the boys. I don't. I have.
My socks were soaked.
This is disgusting.
You just took your socks off.
We need to end this thing.
Yeah.
This is gross.
Hey, by the way, we'll be live again, so you guys don't forget. Tomorrow.
10.
Yep, 10 o'clock tomorrow. We'll be live
Yep.
next 2 days. So see you guys then.
10
Appreciate
to
all
12.
you. Get your merchandise. We're going to run the ball. Great time to wear it. Jameer gives it a big day today. Run the ball. OfficialCTSports.com. Jeff, Booner, Caleb, Mike, Lucas, we're all here. Appreciate you all. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.